Hey, what's up everybody? Today in this video I thought we'd do something a little bit different, and what I wanted to do was show you guys how to take this and turn it into this. We're going to be reloading some 9mm. Alright, so this video is just going to be kind of like a brief overview on just a process on how I reload my 9mm. Not going to get too technical, but I'll just kind of go over the basics of my process. First thing is you need some 9mm brass, right? Well, you need all of your components like the primer, the projectile, and the brass, but usually what I do is I'll either pick up my own spent casings whenever I go shoot my pistols, or I might just look on the ground and see what other spent casings are there from other people. Just as long as nobody else is collecting it for their use, it's free game, right? I'll usually take a Ziploc bag with me, and I'll just pick up what I can. Then when I bring it home, I'll just throw it into my dry tumbler, let it tumble for several hours, because what that does is it cleans off the casings. Don't want to load up dirty brass, so throw it in the tumbler, and then once it's out of the tumbler, I can then go on and further prep the brass to be reloaded. So let's move on to the first step, and that's throwing it into the tumbler. Let's go. Alright, so here's my dry tumbler, and that stuff I have inside is just some corncob media you can get at the store. Cleans off the brass, and I'll go ahead and load up my brass right now. Throw on the top. And then I'll usually just throw a box over it, because it gets kind of loud. It can get pretty loud. And you don't really want to be around when this is working, because it kicks up a lot of media dust and potentially lead dust as well. Alright, so once you've got your brass nice and clean, I'll go ahead and put the brass into a larger bag like this, and then I'm gonna hit it with some case lube right here. And typically you want to do this in a well ventilated area, but if you put it in a bag, it's gonna kind of limit the vapors from going everywhere. So just for the sake of this video, I do it in the bag. I just shake it up, give it a quick spray, then I close the bag and just kind of shuffle it around. Just shuffle it around a couple times, make sure that the case lube is well spread within the cases, and then that makes it a lot easier for the cases to go in and out of the reloading dies, which we're going to move on to next. So right here we have my Lee turret press, and I like to do one stage at a time. Instead of doing one stage, one right after the other, I'll usually run them through one stage at a time, meaning for the deep priming and the resizing die, I'll run all of my cases through that one first, and then I'll move on to the next stage. It's a little bit more efficient this way from my experience. So we'll go ahead and load in our brass into the case holder, pull down on the handle, and that resizes it. And as you can see here, there's no more primer in it. We're gonna put a primer in there now. So what I'll do is I'll usually set the primer into the primer holder right here. I'll put the case back in the case holder and then push back on the handle. And now our case is primed, just like that. Now when it's time to throw in the charge, make sure that the case is well seated. I'll check that for the charge. Yep, we've got our charge in there. And now we're going to seat the projectile. So when we're seating the projectile, just take your projectile here. As you can see, that's a 9mm, 124 grains. I'll go ahead and set it right on top of the case. And pull the handle all the way down. And we're done. And that is our finished product. So once that's done, we can now, we're going to take our caliper measures and make sure that the dimensions are within SAAMI specifications. Now our reloading guide says that our minimum overall length should be 1.060, and looks like we're at 1.123, so we are good here. Alright, so that was a quick, simple version on how to reload a 9mm from scratch. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys later.